The alluring spark of competition has been around since, well, since forever.
Animals do it, plants do it, and even early tribal paintings depict a primitive form of rock, paper, scissors known as rock, rock, rock. But thanks to video games, we no longer compete in blood sports to entertain packed arenas. Instead, esports conduct battles of the mind, test teamwork, and wage wars of button agility, all within the relative safety of the internet.
But where did it all begin? I mean, obviously it was StarCraft in South Korea in the late 90s, right? Well, actually it goes back way further than you think, to 1962 and a little-known country called the United States of America.
Man had just made it into space, we were in the middle of the Cold War, and a video game had just been invented called Spacewar. It was about neither of these things. Players each guided a spaceship around the small circular display of the PDP-1 machine, a computer bigger than you will ever be. The objective, to shoot down your opponent without being pulled into the black hole in the center. A full 10 years later, on October 19th, 1972, a Space War competition was held at Stanford University. Known as the Intergalactic Space War Olympics, student competitors were battling it out to become the world's first esports tournament champion. Of course, the free-for-all winner Bruce Baumgart probably didn't realize its significance at the time, instead enjoying the coveted prize of a year's subscription to Rolling Stone magazine. On to 1980, where Atari held the Space Invaders Championship. Over 10,000 entrants turned up from all over the US, marking it as the first large-scale gaming competition.
Tournaments started popping up everywhere, popularity was growing, and the world was starting to take notice. High scores were making it into the Guinness Book of Records, shows like Starcade began televising competitive games, and in 1982, the movie Tron took video games into Hollywood.
From the 80s through to the mid-90s, teams began forming, the Nintendo World Championships and QuakeCon were started, Counter-Strike and Warcraft were released, and most importantly, we got our hands on the internet.
This was the crowbar esports needed to break its way into our homes. And while most of us were crawling around on dial-up, South Korea was implementing the fastest lines in the world. Internet cafes needed games, and StarCraft was ready to deliver. Of the 9.5 million copies sold worldwide, almost half went to South Korea.
What started as a hobby quickly became a career option for South Korean gamers. The country's cable TV stations on GameNet and MBC Game started broadcasting live tournaments. And in the early 2000s, someone figured enough willing fans could fill an entire stadium. After all, these pro players were now celebrities in their own right, battling it out not for a magazine subscription, but for hundreds of thousands of pounds in prize money.
The small snowball of competitive games had now turned into an avalanche of lights, fame, and money. Arguably the best kind of avalanche.
Now with the rise of Twitch TV and YouTube, every single gamer out there can tune in live to watch the very best in the world have at it. The audiences and the prize money are still growing, but it's nice to remember that it all started in a science lab, on a computer that ran off paper, in a ship that was little more than a blob, for a prize worth less than £5.
Tune in next time where we'll be taking a look at FIFA and how it booted its way into the esports limelight. After that, we'll be bringing you tips and tricks to help you outscore your rivals in the Virgin Media Gaming Hexathlon. We'll see you then.